Friends, welcome back. Here is our next case scenario, which is our question number 3. CA and Co Chartered Accountants have been appointed as the auditors of ZXC Company Hockey in the rural areas of India. The company's average annual profit was estimated to be around 50 lakhs. This profit would not be distributed as dividend to the shareholders. However, it would be applied towards its objective of promoting sports in the country. During the course of audit for the financial year 2020-21, the following observations with respect to the company were made by the auditors. The company was not maintaining proper records with respect to its fixed assets maintained by it. The value of fixed assets of the company amounts to 1.5 crores approximately. Physical verification of the same was not carried out at regular intervals. The last physical verification was conducted on 31st of July 2019. As a result of the above, the auditors decided to report the same in the company's auditor's report, that is ARCARO. However, the management of the company was against the decision of the auditors and insisted that the observations need not be reported. After several discussions with the auditors and the management, CA and Co decided not to report the issue. So, hope you are clear till here. Before furthering to the next part of this question, we'll go through the questions that were asked based on this case study. See, the first question is relating to this point only. Is the decision of CA and Co of not reporting the issues of ZXC in Caro justified? If so, under what reason? So, we need to identify whether Caro is applicable to it or not. Here, ZXC Here the applicability of Caro to ZXC is not there because Caro is not applicable to ZXC and hence the same need not to be reported. Because XZC company has obtained a license from the central government to promote sports of hockey in rural areas of India, this company is exempted from the applicability of Caro. Hope you know that company is incorporated with charitable objective and has obtained a license to operate under Section 8 are exempted from the applicability of Caro, and hence option B is the correct answer for our question. But still we'll go through the other options. Option A, no, Caro is not applicable to ZXC company. So it is saying that Caro is applicable, but actually the Caro is not applicable. So option C is also saying no. Option D says yes. As per SA 320, the auditor, after taking into account the materiality of the issue, he may either issue the report or may not issue the same. But once if Caro is applicable, then any kind of question relating to reporting arises. But since Caro is not applicable, this particular question of reporting or not reporting doesn't arise. Hope you are clear with this point of this question. We'll continue reading the question. CA and Co Chartered Accountants were also acting as auditors for another company, LS Limited and KD Bank Limited. During the course of audit of LS Limited, there was a difference of opinion between the to determine key audit matter as per SA 701. The effect on audit of significant transactions that took place in the financial year, areas of high risk as assessed and reported by management's expert, significant auditor judgment relating to areas in the financials that involved significant management judgment. So till here it is relating to LS Limited. Now we'll go through audit of KD Bank Limited. During the audit of KD Bank Limited, the auditor and the management had a certain difference of opinion as to the amount and the items which need to be disclosed under the head contingent liabilities. However, apart from that, the auditors had observed the following. 59 agricultural loan accounts guaranteed by Government of Delhi amounting to 29 lakh were overdue for more than 2 years. And 73 guaranteed by Government of India agricultural loan accounts amounting to 25 lakhs were overdue for more than 2 years. 6 corporate loan accounts guaranteed, 3 each by the central government, by the Government of India and the Government of Delhi, amounting to rupees 25 lakhs for each company, were overdue for more than 3.5 months. So, here you observe that there are two types of guarantees given by the governments. One is the central government guarantee and the other is the state government guarantee. But as per the banking norms of Reserve Bank of India, any bank which has received a guarantee from central government, even if such loan account is overdue, such kind of loan account guarantee which was given for any loan account, then if such loan which was guaranteed by state government is overdue for more than 2 quarters, then such kind of loan shall be considered as a non-performing asset. So from here you can observe that the first 159 agricultural loan accounts were completely guaranteed by the state government, that is the state government of Delhi, which is amounting to 29 lakhs. So this is overdue for more than 2 years and hence this should be considered as non-performing assets. And the second one, 73 agricultural loan accounts amounting to 25 lakhs was guaranteed by central government and hence this has to be considered as a normal account, not to be treated as a non-performing assets, even if the period of overdue is more than 2 years. Let's go through the third one. 6 corporate guarantee loan accounts, out of which 3 were guaranteed by the Government of India and Government of Delhi. Now here out of 6 only 3 were guaranteed by the central government, balance 3 were not guaranteed by central government and hence this has to be treated as NPA as the overdue is more than 3.5 months. Generally any loan account which is not guaranteed by any government and where the period of overdue is more than 90 days, then such kind of loan account shall be considered as a non-performing asset. So overall 3 into 25, this is 75 lakhs and here 29 lakhs. Total 104 lakhs has to be considered as a non-performing asset. Guided by CA and Co Chartered Accountants, they were offered the following new assignments. A GST assessing officer approached for conduct of a special audit under Section 66 of CGST Act for a company named MD Limited, which was having an annual turnover of 1 crore. He had requested for a special audit as per the option that the company has not availed, as per the opinion that the company has not availed input tax credit within the normal limits. Offered to provide incorporation services to RS General Insurance Company, the General Insurance Limited, which was proposed to be set up with a paid up share capital of 113 crore, of which preliminary expenses of 17 crores were included. The audit firm, after taking into consideration all the facts and figures with respect to its new assignments, decided not to undertake both of them. Based on the above facts, answer the following. We have answered the first question already. We'll go through the second question. What is the total amount of loans that should be classified as NPA by KD Bank Limited? KD Bank. We have already discussed this point while reading through the case study. So it was 104 lakhs. And the next question, which among the following has to be reported by the auditor as contingent liability of KD Bank Limited? We'll go through each and every option. Guarantee given by KD Bank on behalf of constituent located in Myanmar. So this is obviously a nature of contingent liability, because if that constituent which is located in Myanmar has not paid its loan, then it will be treated constituent is a contingent liability. A percentage of total bills purchased by KD Bank. Okay, this is by going through this only you will be observing that there is no contingency involved on behalf of KD Bank Limited. And option C, claims against the bank acknowledged as debt. Since the claims are already acknowledged as debt, there is no contingency involved in this particular transaction. If the claims are not acknowledged as debt, then you might say that this is a contingent liability. And then unpaid salary of 5 lakhs to 5 staffs of KD Bank Limited, which are currently undergoing a court trial. No problem. If there is any unpaid salary, obviously you already know that there is a chances of going complete. You need to pay such amount, right? Even if they go for a court or not, you need to pay such amount, irrespective of the fact there is any favorable decision or unfavorable decision from the part of court. So the correct option is guarantee given by KD Bank on behalf of constituent located in Myanmar. So this is a contingent liability on part of KD Bank Limited. What would be the possible reason for not accepting a special audit under Section 66 of CGST Act? You observe that CA & Co has been offered a GST audit from an assessing officer, right? See, here it is. GST assessing officer approached for audit of for conduct of special audit. However, you need to understand that as per Section 66 of CGST Act, whenever a special audit is required, the assistant commissioner has to pass such order so as to conduct the audit. Here, assessing officer is asking. So, officer, but still we'll go through the other options. Such audit is applicable only if the turnover of the company exceeds 5 crores. No, if the assistant commissioner feels that even if your turnover is less than 5 crores and assistant commissioner feels that a special audit has to be conducted, then such audit will be conducted. Such audit needs to be conducted by cost accountants. No, there is no such thing, because GST audits will be conducted by chartered accountants. Chartered accountants or cost accountants. But the thing is, you need to clearly bifurcate the issue. Here the question is saying clearly that is GST assessing officer has requested you, but the assistant commissioner of GST has to pass an order to such effect. And such audit has to be called upon by the central government. No, that is not the case. Assistant commissioner, even if the central government wants to conduct a special audit, assistant commissioner has to pass such an order. And last question, whether CA & Co are justified for not accepting the incorporation services of RS General Insurance Limited? If so, as to what is the reason? We'll go through this point again. See, here is our question. Offer to provide incorporation services to RS General Insurance Limited, which was proposed to be set up with a paid up share capital of 113 crores. If it is still here, then it is okay, because the general insurance company's initial primary requirement, mandatory requirement of being set up is 100 crore paid up share capital on the date of incorporation, excluding preliminary expenses. So the paid up share capital is falling below 100 crores. Therefore, CA & Co chartered accountants are correct in not accepting this engagement as to incorporation of RS General Insurance Limited. Hope you understood this point, and we'll go through the options. Option A, yes, the incorporation service of an insurance company should be done by the auditor appointed by the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. So there is no such requirement as to CAG appointing a person for incorporating insurance companies. So this option is wrong. Option B, yes, the insurance company should have a minimum paid up share capital of 100 crore, which will exclude preliminary expenses. Yes, this is the correct option. Option B is your correct answer. But still we'll go through other options also. Option C, no. The insurance company should have a minimum paid up capital of 100 crores, which also includes the preliminary expenses. So this is against the rule. Even this option is wrong. And the last but not least, the option D, yes, the incorporation services of insurance company should be done by the auditor appointed by the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority. Even here, there is no such uh, prescribed rule as to IRDA appointing a person for incorporation of general insurance companies, and hence the correct option will be option B, because the minimum paid up share capital has to be 100 crores, which shall exclude the preliminary expenses. So CA and Co is justified in not accepting the incorporation services of RS General Insurance Company. With this, we have completed our third case study. Hope this is helpful to you, and if you find these videos useful, please do share with your friends and for watching.